Meet an athlete who's making the cut both on and off the gridiron. A new coach filling the shoes of a local legend. And rising stars to watch and those to catch. Straight ahead on the premiere edition of the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show.
The Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. He's going down the right sideline. He's almost stopped. Today's show is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods, Papa John's, and the Baltimore area Toyota dealers.
Hi, and welcome to the debut of the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. I'm Jerry Bembry. Each week throughout this school year, we'll bring you the latest prep scores, rankings, and game highlights from boys and girls action across the state, along with special features on coaches and athletes who may just be in your own backyard. But enough from me. Let's get started. We went down to Anne Arundel County on Friday night to watch the Bruins of Broadneck take on the Patriots from Old Mill.
The Bruins going for their third straight win against Old Mill. All Broadneck early on. Martell Threadgill gets the handoff and cuts it outside. They can't catch Threadgill as he threads the defense. That was a common theme all night long. Old Mill trying to get back into it right here. Craig Hall on the swing pass for Jason Galloway. But it was the Bruins that had the offense working in this one. It's Threadgill again from 4 yards out, 20-0. Broadneck led it at that point. And even when Old Mill did score, it was not easy. Check this out. Lineman Jeremy Robinson falls on the ball in the end zone for the TD. That was the Patriots' only score of the game. More Broadneck defense. Along the far side, it's Dorian Watkins with the diving interception. The Bruins D was stifling with 3 INTs. It was Martell Threadgill night. He had 237 yards rushing to go along with 3 touchdowns. And his defensive mates had 4 sacks and 3 fumble recoveries. Broadneck rolls over Old Mill 39-7 in this Anne Arundel County matchup. The Bruins picked up where they left off last year. It was their 3rd straight win over the Patriots. For the first time in over 3 decades, Poly had a football coach not named Augie Weibel. John Hammond made his debut last night as his Poly team on the road against Lawston. Lawston, things going early on. Nate Leibel down the sidelines for the run for the big fullback. Catch of the game came right here. Tim Frazier over the middle to Eddie Henry. He somehow was able to scoop it up, and the fans said, "Nice catch, Ed." That set up the first score of the night. Charles Haywood takes it in from 2 yards out. Engineers up 7-zip, and that was the first TD for Coach Hammond. They would add the extra point and lead at 7-0. Poly's D was awesome. They pitched a shutout in Coach Hammond's debut. Icing on the cake came here in the 4th. Frazier goes deep. A wide open Eddie Henry. Eddie all alone. Still sprints into the end zone for the 55-yard scoring strike. Poly shuts out Boston 13-0 for their first win for new head coach John Hammond. A new era begins for the Engineers. From football, we move to girls soccer. The top team in the area, McDonough, playing host to CM Wright in their invitational. McDonough gets on the board early. Lisa Zanti dribbles on top of the box, fires over the goalie's head, 1-0 Eagles. A little bit later, Marissa Shushat ahead of the pack, puts it in. Number 1 McDonough, no problem with CM Wright. They win it 3-1. In other tournament action, Centennial rolls over Bishop O'Connell by a 4-1 count. Spalding against Severna Park. Severna Park trailing at 2-0. They try to make it close here with the free kick goal, but it was not enough. Severna Park loses to Spalding 2-1 in an upset.
We're only in week number 1 of the season, but many teams are already in high gear. Let's take a look at how some of the area's top-ranked teams fared their first time out. Coming up next, we'll take you over to the Poet Society for Dick's Sporting Goods Big Game of the Week. Don't go away. There's more action ahead as the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show rolls on. Welcome back to the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. Mount St. Joe's kicked off the city's 1998 football season with a showdown against the Poets of Dunbar. It was the coaching debut for Dunbar's Ben Easton, looking to keep last year's state finalists on a winning track. Before we go out to the game, we want to recognize two classroom stars from our Big Game of the Week. Let's take you out to the action with our own Brian Sinkoff for Dick's Sporting Goods Big Game of the Week.
Mount St. Joe's traveled to Dunbar yesterday. There wasn't too much time to warm up. There were fireworks right out of the gate. Mount St. Joe's got an early score off a fumbled kickoff return, but Dunbar came back with 22 second quarter points. Leonard Ferguson over the middle for Chris Barnes. They had the two-point conversion. They led it 8-7 with 11 to go in the first half. One of the weirdest plays you'll ever see came about 5 minutes later. Robert Abiamiri fields the punt at his own 40-yard line. Two Dunbar tacklers converge, and look at that. Dunbar's Chris Barnes takes it, and he goes the other way. No one's going to catch him. That's a 50-yard touchdown for Chris Barnes of Dunbar. The Poets would miss the extra point, so they led it 14-6. And they would strike yet again. Ferguson across the middle. Terrell Henderson. He's off for the races. No one's going to catch him as he catches the defense napping. Another big play for Dunbar, and they had a 14-point halftime lead. With the Gales trailing at 22-6 at the half and their offense sputtering early on, they need a big play and fast. And that's exactly what happened. The Dunbar punt hits a Mount St. Joe's player's helmet, and Isaac Kufor picks up the loose ball, and he takes off. Down the sidelines, look at the freshman go. That's a 50-yard return all the way to the Dunbar 10-yard line. And it sets up a touchdown just 2 plays later. Shaquib Samoran diving into your living room for the touchdown. The Poets' lead was just 10 points after 3 quarters. The Gales made it a ball game early in the 4th. Andy McCallowitz, quick hitter for Travis Wells. Wells beats the defense, goes the distance for 37 yards. Mount St. Joe's trailed at 22-19 with 9:17 remaining in the game. Gales had a chance to win it late in the game. They were at the Poets' 10-yard line, but Isaac Kufor fumbles the football. Dunbar recovers it, and the Poets force 4 turnovers in this game, and they go on to win it 22-19 over Mount St. Joe's. It was the first game for new Poets head coach Ben Eaton. He comes out victorious.
Which unbelievable game. You guys got off to a great lead. Nearly lost it at the end, but a great effort from your team today.
Oh, yeah, well, we had to stick together. That's the key thing. I have great coaches and great kids.
Talk about it. This seemed to be the play of the big game. Whether you guys were making it or they were making it, you just seem to have more big plays today.
Well, they're well coached, and we want to see how we coach, how good we are. So we always try to go up against the best.
First game of the season, first game for your coach. What does this mean?
This game was a wake-up call. I told the team in the beginning of the game, if we win this game, that we're going to win the state championship.
After the game, the Poets players presented their new head coach with the game ball. Congrats, Coach.
As we mentioned at the top of the show, head coach John Hammond made history this week by becoming only the second coach in over 30 years at Poly. He replaces Augie Weibel, who is considered one of the top high school coaches in the country. Certainly big shoes for Coach Hammond to fill, which is why he's featured as our Toyota Coach of the Week.
24 and 25 counter pass. All right.
If you come to Poly and you participate in football, you expect to perform your best and hopefully, get more W's than L's.
W certainly outnumbered the L's for Poly under the reign of Augie Weibel, 221-58 to be exact. But that doesn't seem to intimidate new head coach John Hammond, who plans to keep the winning tradition intact, but it will be done his way.
We're still trying to build on the positive tradition, working hard with the kids, trying to bring out the most from them. But as far as some of the offensive and defensive schemes, it will be different, and a lot of that is based upon our talent. Just like Coach Weibel, we like to establish sound, fundamental football and hard-nosed football, and carry on that tradition for sure.
We wish Coach Hammond success as a new era begins at Poly. Now let's highlight some of the athletes who find as much success in the classroom as they do on the field. Each week, Toyota and the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show will award outstanding prep athletes throughout the state of Maryland. This week's winners are Betsy Gaines of the Roland Park Country School field hockey team and Damien Davis, a football star at Gilman. They were two of the area's top athletes last year, and we expect more excellence from them in 1998. We salute Toyota's Prep Athletes of the Week.
Betsy Gaines is a three-sports standout at Roland Park Country School who has a knack for finding her teammates.
Betsy is truly an amazing athlete. She has tremendous vision. She sees all of her teammates on the field, and she knows exactly where to put the ball.
I've always tried to lead my team, even if I'm quiet, but I still try to coach my team on the field and try to let everyone know that I'm here to help them. I take the same focus on the field and in the classroom. I'm just a hard worker. I don't think you can get anywhere without your schoolwork and education, so I think it's really important, and that's why I like Roland Park. I think there's a good mixture of the academics and very competitive sports.
And it's both her work in the classroom and on the field that Betsy feels will lead her to a top university next year, perhaps Virginia or North Carolina, where she hopes to excel in perhaps her favorite sport.
I really like lacrosse a lot, and so I think I have a lot to learn in that sport, so I'm pretty excited about going to college and playing lacrosse.
Gilman senior tailback Damien Davis has stepped his goals for the season.
Set a goal for 2,000 yards and anywhere from 10 to 20 touchdowns. 10-0 season this year would be nice. Just do as well as I can, lead the team.
Damien's a wonderful kid, and that's the most important thing. That's the thing we look for. He's a kid of great character. He's like a son. I love him. As a kid that we have instilled a lot of confidence in him. We trust him, and he's a terrific player.
Fierce competitor. I'll just try as hard as I can all the time. And like to win. Don't like to lose at all.
Damien's competitive attitude is what he hopes will carry him to a major university next year, with an eye not just for carrying the football, but his future goals as well.
I can't play sports forever. When I get in the real world, I won't be able to run for a touchdown for money unless something really big happens. Other than that, I'll be in the classroom, and stuff that I learn will be helping me in the real world.
We wish Damien and Betsy all the best this coming season. Here are talented performers to watch for this year.
Even though game schedules were limited this week, the action certainly wasn't. Here's a look at some of the plays that made our highlight reel, including the outstanding play of the week.
Our highlight reel begins with Ole Mill versus Broadneck. Ole Mill's Tony Twitty heading for the sidelines, and look out! Fortunately, both our photographer and running back were okay. In girls soccer action, Spalding goalie Yasmin Alter coming up with a diving save in the Cavaliers' upset win over Severna Park. And our big play of the week comes from the big game of the week, Dunbar against Mount St. Joe's. Terrell Henderson going airborne to come up with the amazing catch. This one was so good, we'll have another look in slow-mo. Unbelievable. And that's our big play of the week.
When we come back, you'll meet a young man who's making the cut both on and off the football field. He's our Papa John Student Athlete of the Week, and we'll deliver his story next on the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. Anthony Lawston has been beating the odds most of his life. Raised in an area filled with crime and drugs, he's overcome extraordinary challenges. His strong drive to succeed has earned him rewards both on and off the playing field. He's an inspirational young man, and he's our Papa John's Student Athlete of the Week.
Basically, I'm the star, trying to save our team from losing.
Confident may be the best word to describe Anthony Lawston. As team leader and captain for Eastern Technical High School and one of the premier wide receivers in the state, Anthony has always been someone to look up to.
I was always big, though. That's why I always played with guys bigger than me, stuff like that, because I was too big to play with, like, my brother's size friends, stuff like that. So that's probably why people look up to me, because I'm kind of like a grown-up type kid.
As a kid growing up, Anthony had dreams of becoming an architect. He's building on those dreams here at Eastern.
I came to be a computer-aided draftsperson. When I go to college, I want to get into the engineering field. Whatever I do, and I take it serious. I give them 100% all the time. I'm a member of the National Honor Society. I'm a former president of my class, 2-year Booster Club president. That's before I became president of Class 99 junior year.
So there must be a balancing act, trying to get all of your schoolwork done, as well as getting out here for practice and football. I mean, how do you manage all of this? You're doing so many things.
It's natural, I guess. It's not like I'm really trying to do anything. It's just instinct.
When not in the classroom, this is where Anthony feels most at home, on the football field. It is here where he focuses on dodging tackles and catching those touchdown passes versus dodging the bullets and sidestepping the drugs, which is what he's used to.
Lived in a house where drugs come in and out. You can see it made, used, and all that stuff. A lot of abuse as far as brother, sister, as far as my uncle and aunts and mom were all involved. When I'm on the football field, it's kind of like trying to survive what I used to survive and everything around me. Like a wide receiver out there being fighting, and quarterback and running back being the drugs and stuff. And I'm just trying to beat that in order to get off the field and away from it.
Anthony is an outstanding student leader. He's great in the classroom, but more important to me as a principal, it's the values that he lives every day. I've watched him walk into situations with a strong sense of what's right and wrong and encourage students to do the right thing.
I just try to tell them to be serious about school. Like my uncle tells us all also, but I try to remind them that playing around all the time is going to get you nowhere.
It seems there are only good times ahead for Anthony as he continues his journey. And our journey has just begun, although we're out of time for this first edition of the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. We'll be back right here again next week at the same time. In the meantime, catch all the latest prep scores and features in the Baltimore Sun every day. And keep an eye out for us as we travel across the state, keeping an eye out for you. Who knows? We may show up at your high school this week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jerry Bembry. Until next Sunday, have a great school week ahead. So long.